First COVID-19 death in South Korea. The outbreak is fast turning from a trickle to a flood as the number of newly confirmed cases soars well past 100. The worst hit the southeastern city of Daegu. Despite the surge in COVID-19 cases in South Korea, the WHO expresses confidence that the number of new cases in the country can be managed by South Korea's health authorities. Plus, the leaders of South Korea and China agree to closely cooperate in their respective battles against the coronavirus outbreak. Now, South Korea's COVID-19 outbreak had an unwanted first on Thursday, with the nation recording its first death from the virus. The number of cases has also surged in recent days, currently standing at 113. We have our Hong Yu on the line. So, Hong Yu, tell us more about this patient who died.
Mark, South Korea's first death from the coronavirus was a 63-year-old man who had been hospitalized with schizophrenia in Cheongdo Daenam Hospital for more than 20 years. He died after showing symptoms of pneumonia early Wednesday morning, but upon conducting an autopsy, health authorities discovered he had COVID-19. Experts say the mortality rate of the virus outside Wuhan is estimated to be around 0.2 to 0.4%. That's lower than MERS, but higher than influenza. Further deaths from COVID-19 are likely to occur over time in South Korea, especially if new cases continue to mount. At least 9 new cases were confirmed on Thursday night, bringing the total number to at least 113. Over the night, 4 new cases were confirmed in Gyeongsangbuk-do province. Most of the new cases confirmed on Thursday were in Daegu and Gyeongsangbuk-do province. 28 of those were related to Shincheonji Church of Jesus, which was visited by the country's 31st confirmed patient. 3 more people who tested positive for the virus in Gwangju had visited the Shincheonji Church of Jesus in Daegu last Sunday using the same car. The new cases in Gwangju comes 2 weeks after the 3rd case in the city was confirmed. Gyeongsangnam-do and Chungcheongbuk-do have also seen their first cases, with 1 case confirmed in each province. The patient in Chungcheongbuk-do province is a soldier serving in the army in that region. An Air Force officer working in Chungcheongnam-do province also tested positive for the virus.
And these infections in the armed forces comes after the government officially announced that a South Korean Navy sailor was confirmed to have the virus. He's based in Jeju.
Yes, that's right, Mark. The patient in Jeju is a South Korean Navy sailor in his 20s. He recently visited his hometown Daegu, where community-based transmission is happening. He was immediately quarantined at his base after he showed symptoms of COVID-19. To prevent further spread of the virus within the armed forces, South Korea's defense ministry is scrapping outdoor drills and limiting their off-installation travel and visits from Saturday. U.S. Forces Korea has also banned its personnel from traveling to Daegu. USFK Commander General Robert Abrams elevated the risk for the USFK to moderate until the Korea Centers for Disease Control and Prevention completes its contact trace procedures. Back to you, Mark.
Hong Yu, thank you very much for that report. Now, with South Korea reporting its first COVID-19 death and 53 new confirmed cases on Thursday alone, the World Health Organization has weighed it in, saying that while the number seems quite high, it doesn't signal a significant change in the challenge the country faced prior to this recent surge. Lee Seung-jae with the details.
53 newly confirmed COVID-19 cases were reported in South Korea on Thursday, nearly doubling the total number of confirmed patients to 104. South Korea also reported its first death, with a 63-year-old man dying of pneumonia on Wednesday. However, the WHO says despite the surge in the number of confirmed cases, they're mostly linked to known existing outbreaks.
The number of cases in South Korea reported today are actually from several distinct clusters, which the Korean authorities are following very closely. So although the number seems quite high, they are mostly linked to known existing outbreaks.
Morgan added that the latest outbreak doesn't signal a particular change in the global epidemiology, but does signal that the South Korean authorities are working closely to contain all the new cases that have been identified so far. The WHO's Director General says South Korea should be able to contain the outbreak with the kind of measures it has been taking.
With measures they can take, which is proportional to the public health risk they have, I think the number of cases are really manageable. And I hope South Korea will do everything to contain this outbreak at this early stage.
The WHO chief also noted that the number of COVID-19 cases in the rest of the world is very low compared to mainland China, but warned it may not stay the same for very long. Meanwhile, the WHO announced Thursday that a team from Seoul National University's medical school will be joining the WHO's international team of health experts in China in a bid to contain the outbreak. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
Now, the COVID-19 outbreak here in South Korea has entered a state of community-based transmission, and that means that more cases are sprouting up where contact tracing is impossible, really. Officials say public awareness is just as important as government measures at this point in the outbreak in South Korea. Choi Jong-yoon explains.
The epidemic in South Korea has started to explode through community transmission. And there are fears that the spread of the virus could lead to mass infection in some areas.
We've come to a situation where we don't know who infected who. The fact that someone around me might be infected scares me the most. So I tell my family to stay away from areas with many people.
Daegu and the neighboring Gyeongsangbuk-do province in the southeast of the country have seen more than half of the total confirmed cases in Korea. At the center of the spread in the region is Korea's 31st patient. A 60-year-old woman is being suspected of infecting more than 30 people at her church, a branch of a new religious movement known as Shincheonji Church of Jesus. She has also come into contact with hundreds of people after controversially refusing to be tested twice for the virus almost 2 weeks ago. Experts say the public's cooperation is needed to minimize the spread of the outbreak.
COVID-19 can spread easily. Not only patients, but also those who've been in contact with them must cooperate with the health authorities and follow instructions. This kind of assistance is crucial to protect not only one's health, but the health of other people.
While the government and medical teams have led countermeasures so far, now it's up to the whole society to tackle the virus. Without the community's direct and active cooperation, experts say there's a limit to how much we can stop the virus, as there's no vaccine at the moment.
Regular citizens must refrain from leaving the house when having symptoms like coughs, fever, and a sore throat. You should wear a mask when you go out to block even the small possibility of passing around the virus. After visiting a crowded place, washing hands for 30 seconds is a must.
Once individuals follow health rules, there's no need to fear going to public places. He added people with suspicious symptoms should refrain from visiting hospitals, but rather call 1339 and follow instructions. Individual measures by regular citizens are just as important as government efforts in stopping the virus from spreading. Experts say a mature sense of citizenship is needed now more than ever. Choi Jong-yoon, Arirang News.
President Moon Jae-in is receiving an emergency briefing from Prime Minister Jong Se-gyun over response measures against the COVID-19 outbreak. This morning's meeting comes after South Korea saw its first death from the virus on Thursday, while the number of cases jumped well past 100. The Prime Minister earlier announced that the government will designate Daegu and Cheongdo, southeast of Seoul, as special care zones after mass infections were confirmed in those areas. Eyes are on whether the government will lift the alert level from watch to serious. And the leaders of South Korea and China have vowed to work together to fight the coronavirus outbreak. During a phone call late Thursday, Presidents Moon Jae-in and Xi Jinping agreed to step up cooperation and share relevant information. So hopefully both countries can start bringing this outbreak under control. Kim Min-ji reports.
President Moon Jae-in and Chinese President Xi Jinping have vowed to strengthen their cooperation in order to tackle the COVID-19 outbreak. During their 30-minute phone conversation on Thursday evening, the two leaders agreed to share relevant clinical experience and to step up cooperation between quarantine authorities. It was their first phone call since the outbreak. President Moon expressed hope that China overcomes the outbreak and thanked Xi for Beijing's cooperation to fly out its nationals from the Chinese city of Wuhan, the epicenter of the virus. President Moon also called for continued cooperation in protecting South Korean people and companies in China. The Chinese leader also thanked South Korea for its support, adding that the two neighbors are cooperating well to overcome the difficulties they are facing. He added that he was impressed with President Moon's remarks that China's difficulties were those of South Korea too. She explained the Chinese government's response measures, adding that there's growing hope that they will be able to contain the situation. The two leaders also touched upon other issues of mutual interest. They agreed that the most urgent matter on the Korean peninsula was the resumption of talks between North Korea and the U.S. The South Korean president said that inter-Korean cooperation will be able to facilitate Pyongyang-Washington dialogue, to which President Xi expressed support for Moon's peace drive. The two leaders also agreed to push ahead with plans for President Xi to visit South Korea within the first half of this year, vowing to secure a date through diplomatic channels. Kim Min-ji, Arirang News.
China's Hubei province reported 411 new confirmed cases of COVID-19 on Thursday, up from 349 cases a day earlier, according to the Chinese state media outlet CCTV. On this Friday, Hubei province also had 115 additional deaths on Thursday. This brings the total number of confirmed infections in China to 75,000 and the death toll to more than 2,200. Hubei province, the center of the outbreak, has recorded less than 500 confirmed cases for the past 2 days, at least according to state media. However, more than 2,000 patients in the province are reportedly still in critical condition. And more than a dozen more people on the Diamond Princess cruise ship docked in Yokohama tested positive on Thursday for the coronavirus. Japan's health ministry confirmed that 13 out of 52 patients tested had COVID-19. At least 634 people on board the vessel have the virus, which is about 17% of the people on board. Two former passengers, both Japanese nationals, a man and a woman in their 80s, died of the virus on Thursday. Now, the International Confederation of Societies of Authors and Composers represents 4 million musicians, lyricists, film directors, screenwriters, visual artists and other creators in 121 countries. Our Kan Hyung-woo sat down with the Confederation's Director General, Gadi Oron, to discuss copyright protection in the digital world we live in and the global success of K-pop, and recently the Oscar-winning film Parasite.
Hello, Mr. Oren. Thanks for doing this interview with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Now, according to a report by CISAC, global royalty collections for music hit record $9.4 billion in 2018. What does that mean for the music industry?
Yes, so what it means is that the industry is growing. This is a very positive trend. We see a continuous trend of development in the market. I think that a big part of it is the success of the digital market. And of course, in Korea here, you had a great success in this area, in the transformation into the digital world. So generally speaking, the creative industries are expanding. The authors, the creators of music, TV, film, and other works of art are receiving more royalties.
So the growth in the digital sector and in streaming revenues has helped creators worldwide. But at the same time, the issue of copyright infringement has become a bigger problem. How do we cope with that?
One of the main challenges is how to protect works in digital form, and how do you monetize them? How do you make sure that the creators, the musicians, the lyricists, all of the other talented people who create works, that they get paid and they can continue to make a living from their works. And the main issue that the industry is working on is to make sure that everyone gets a license, everyone pays fairly, whether the content was uploaded by the users themselves, such as in the case of YouTube or other user-generated platforms.
K-pop has grown into a worldwide genre itself. What do you make of it?
In fact, I see two issues that are strongly linked there. The first one is the expansion of the creative industries here, the growing popularity of K-pop, but it's not just K-pop. A week ago, Korea won the first Oscar for the best film, the first time that a foreign film wins this award. Bong Joon-ho brought you a lot of success in the Oscars. I think that all of these things are not a coincidence, because we know the government had very strong policies to encourage investment and to protect the development of this sector. You see this sector growing, you see the digital market developing, everyone benefits, the digital services, the creators themselves, the collective management organizations are doing a good job, and all of that, I think, is behind the success story of K-pop and the growing popularity of this genre outside Korea itself.
All right, Mr. Won, I think that about wraps it up. Once again, thanks for doing this interview with us today.
Thanks for having me.
That was our Kan Hyung-woo there interviewing the Director General of that confederation there to do with cultural events. Now, it's not often that a world leader is starstruck, but you might think that President Moon Jae-in might have been on Thursday when he held a luncheon with the director, cast and crew of the Oscar-winning movie Parasite. We saw some video of it there. While congratulating the team for their historic accomplishment, he thanked them for raising the spirits of the South Korean public at this trying time with the coronavirus outbreak and whatnot. Our Kim Mo-gyeon has highlights from that luncheon.
At the much-anticipated luncheon, President Moon Jae-in began by applauding the Parasite crew for opening a new chapter in movie history. Though the nation has been worried, he said, over the spread of the coronavirus in the past weeks, Parasite's performance at the Oscars has given the public courage.
우리 영화 100년사에 새로운 역사를 쓰게 되었다는 것도 아주 자랑스럽고, 또 오스카의 역사에서도 새로운 역사를 쓰게 만들었다라는 사실이 아주 자랑스럽습니다. 그리고 그 자랑스러움이 우리 코로나19 사태로 인해서 어려움을 겪고 있는 우리 국민들에게 아주 큰 자부심이 되었고 또 많은 용기를 주었습니다. 그 점에 대해서 특별히 감사를 드립니다.
The luncheon held at the Blue House on Thursday was attended by some 20 members of the film's cast and production staff, including director Bong Joon-ho. President Moon said that thanks to director Bong's outstanding talent, the film was able to overcome the language barrier. He also pointed out that the film was able to depict the deepening social divide around the world, adding that reducing social inequality is one of the government's top priorities. Director Bong, while showing surprise at the president's spontaneous and expressive speech, thanked the first couple for their meaningful invitation.
It's been a while since this many of the crew have been together in one place. It's such an honor that our crew could complete our journey together with the President and the First Lady here at the Blue House.
The crew and the first couple were served a range of dishes, including japaguri, which the First Lady made herself. The dish is a combination of two types of Korean instant noodles topped with beef and has become well known after it was featured in Parasite, referred to in the translated script as ramdon. Congratulating the crew members once again, the president vowed to give tangible support through various means for the further development of the local film industry. Kim Mo-gyeon, Arirang News.
Now, staying with entertainment news, the time is almost upon you if you are a fan of K-pop superstars BTS. The boy band will release their new album, Map of the Soul 7, in a matter of hours from now. According to Big Hit Entertainment, which is the agency of the group, the new album will go on global release at 6 p.m. Korea time. That's in under 8 hours from now. The 20-track album consists of 15 new songs, including the main track On, which was previewed earlier today for 30 seconds on the social video platform TikTok. A digital version of On featuring Australian pop star Sia will be released as well. With their fourth full-length album, BTS have topped their own pre-sales record, selling more than 4 million copies of Map of the Soul 7 already. Now let's start our look around the world with news that 9 people have been killed after linked gun attacks at 2 shisha bars in Germany. Authorities there say they believe far-right extremism was the motive for this dreadful massacre. For more on this and other stories from around the world, let's turn to our Yoon Jung-min. Jung-min, tell us more.
Sure, Mark. The shooting incident killed at least 9 people and seriously wounded 5 or 6 others in western Germany. Authorities say the motive seemed to be linked to extremism. Take a listen.
There are many indications at the moment that the perpetrator acted on right-wing extremist racist motives out of hatred towards people of other origins, religion, or appearance. Racism is poison, hatred is poison.
Police say the 43-year-old suspect killed himself. They found him dead at his home along with the body of his mother. The suspect has been identified as a German citizen with a firearms license. Authorities are examining a video posted online which appears to be from the suspect days before the attacks. He has expressed right-wing conspiracy theories in that video. The attacks happened amid growing concerns about extremism or racism in Germany. The shootings took place at 2 shisha bars in Hanau on Wednesday night local time. Shisha bars are popular in many countries and traditionally found in Middle Eastern and Asian countries. Reports say most victims were people with immigrant backgrounds. Turkey says at least 5 of the victims were Turkish. Gun control is strict in the Eastern Europe country, and gun laws have been tightened further in recent years after a series of shootings. In Germany, 2 people were killed in a shooting attack at a synagogue last October, and a pro-migrant politician was killed last June in a shooting by a far-right suspect. President Trump's longtime friend Roger Stone was sentenced on Thursday to 40 months behind bars. Stone was sentenced on charges of obstructing justice, making false statements, and blocking witnesses to help Trump's 2016 presidential campaign. Trump says he won't pardon Stone now, but there's a good chance of exoneration. Prosecutors had initially asked Stone to be sentenced to 7 to 9 years. Attorney General Bill Barr pressed to reduce the recommended sentence the next day after Trump publicly criticized the perceived harshness on Twitter. In protest, all 4 prosecutors withdrew from the case, while more than 2,000 former Justice Department officials signed a letter calling for Barr to resign. Georgia has blamed Russia for a large-scale cyber attack which caused a mass disruption to the country's websites and broadcasts last year. Georgia's foreign ministry said Thursday the attack was planned and carried out by the Russian military. It accused Moscow of knocking thousands of Georgian websites offline and disrupting national TV broadcasts last October. Britain and the U.S. joined Georgia in supporting statements. Russia has repeatedly denied the allegations, but it did not immediately respond to a request for comment.
Good morning. Have an umbrella handy if you plan to head home in the evening. It's forecast to rain lightly across much of the country. Rain will fall from this evening through early Saturday. Western regions in Jeju will see heavier showers, while mountainous regions in Gangwon province will see 1 to 5 centimeters of snowfall. Dust-wise, central western regions will continue to have dusty air, and light rain will not help that much, and Sunday is shaping up to be a clear day though. So this afternoon, most regions will have double-digit afternoon highs. Daegu and Gwangju will get up to 14 and 15 degrees Celsius respectively, while skies will get cloudier as the day goes on. Looking ahead, this weekend is shaping up to be colder, a bit colder than the last couple of days, while there's another band of rain in the forecast for early next week. That's Korea for you, and here's the international weather for viewers around the world.
Okay, I've just been handed another piece of paper like I was during yesterday's newscast. That is to say that South Korea's health authorities have confirmed even more COVID-19 cases here in the country. 52, in fact, on this Friday. So this brings the total number of cases to 156. We must stress that a great deal of those cases have gone on to make full recoveries, but we keep that total regardless. But still, this growth in cases is becoming an increasing concern here in South Korea. That being said, it is Friday. If you're watching us in Korea, do enjoy your weekend. Don't stress out too much. Keep going on about your normal life as much as you possibly can. Our next newscast is coming up at noon Korea time. That's with our Lee Ji-yoon. So until then, goodbye. SmartBiz Accelerators has contributed to the introduction and expansion of a smart factory system, which has emerged as a core industrial area of the future. This week on SmartBiz Accelerators, we introduce Segwang Selox, a provider of tool holders which can fix the machinery tools. Soul Food, which has produced various types of premium fish cake products. Jilmaje Farming Corporation, a company that produces rice snacks with organic rice. And Songji F&D, a manufacturer of rice cake products and noodles that are free of preservatives and colorings. Be sure to tune in and join us.
Money Monster introduces a variety of new technologies developed in Korea, as well as the smart changes they have brought to people's lifestyles. This week on Money Monster, we introduced the rise of food tech, which has increased efficiency of stores and provided entertaining elements to consumers by introducing robots. Also, we look into Inner Pure, which has produced eco-friendly single ingredient as well as an odor removal system with the aim of creating new values for the livestock industry. And we explore JVR, which has increased the satisfaction level of consumers by providing functional daily supplies with sensuous designs. Don't forget to tune in and join us.